I'm so happy to be talking to you. I feel like I am introducing Canada to something brand new that everybody's going to be very excited about once they get a little more familiar with you.
Thank you very much. That means a lot. I've always wanted to come up there and visit, so maybe this will lead to an opportunity such as that one.
And before we get into your new single, you also have a new EP. I want you to be able to give us a little bit of your backstory, because I know just doing a little bit of research for this interview, you have such a cool story, and it all has kind of pieced together to get you exactly where you are right now.
Yeah, it's funny how going through that story, there were times where it didn't feel like what was going on was so cool, but then being able to look back and realize some of those moments were the coolest parts, because they give you the experiences to write these songs, and the heartaches and the lessons to write these songs in a way that hopefully relates with people.
Yeah, and your new single, My Boy, great story. And you know, when you listen to it, you think there's not a lot of songs that really touch this subject, and that is being a stepdad and what your stepson means to you. And it's kind of funny. I mean, I think Brad Paisley did one back in like the late 90s.
Mm-hmm.
But to know of so many blended families and the relationships that, you know, stepfathers have with their stepchildren, to be able to put that into a country song, it feels like it's taken a long time to do that, but you just did it, and now it's blowing up. It's gone viral, and now it's your single.
Yeah, it feels good to be able to come out and introduce myself to the world with a song like this. I'm proud of the song. I'm proud of my co-writers for helping me dig this song, you know, out of the mud, and just to have a song out there that's touched so many people. I had no idea that all of this was going to happen. We had no idea. You don't go sit in a room and be like, hey, I'm going to write a song about being a step parent today that's going to lead to 70,000 people making a video using the audio of it one day on TikTok, you know. But all we knew was that day there was a Facebook post that a friend of mine's stepmother had sent me that said, I don't have a stepson, I have a son that was born before I met him. And that resonated with me. And I was talking to my co-writers about it, Lee Starr, Russell Sutton, Nick Columbia. We were 4 guys, didn't have anything going on, just green in Nashville, trying to figure out how to write songs together. But Nick looked at me and said, man, tell me about your son. And I said, dude, he's my boy. And he said, let's write that. And, you know, the song was born that night on the back porch. And we all agreed that night when we were done, we were like, man, this is a God song. Like, the experience writing that song, like, felt like such a gift every time that we got a line. It felt like it was just kind of given to us. And I feel blessed to be able to be the vessel that delivers it out, as I've heard someone say before.
Well, and like I said, with everything just kind of aligning for you, to have a song like that to come out during a time where, you know, it's hard to get your music in front of people. You can't perform shows and things like that in the way we traditionally would. But lo and behold, TikTok, it went viral on there. And now the official video is up on YouTube, which I think last I checked is close to 3 million views.
Wow.
And all the while, you know, you're still a new name and a new artist for a lot of people to discover. So it must be pretty exciting to have, you know, that in your back pocket as you finally get to get out in front of people again.
Yeah, it's really cool. There was a time where I kind of toured around the United States opening up for these big acts that I shouldn't have been opening up for, but I didn't have any music for people to go listen to after they heard my songs. And to be able to see a little light at the end of the tunnel right now with being able to play some shows and have some stuff for people to latch onto, it feels really good. And social media has played a big part in all of this. The reason I got a record deal was because John Lobo over at Broken Bow Records seen a video 2-3 years ago of me singing this song at a songwriters round that went viral on Facebook, but then disappeared off of Facebook. And, you know, I was like, well, there went my 15 minutes of fame. Lo and behold, TikTok shows up a week before we go to radio down here, and it blows up on there. So it's just I feel like there's definitely been some divine intervention at work here.
And you had a stint on American Idol too, which is pretty cool. I would think that, you know, from that you would learn a few things to take along with you, but sometimes, you know, not winning is a blessing, because it allows you to kind of create your own path, but still, you know, be thrown into the fire a little bit.
Yeah. So what American Idol did for me was I stood on Dolby Theater stage and sang a song one day. And when I got done, I knew I was going home. I knew I wasn't going to go to the end of that, nor did I really want to after I got there. Like, I thought the experience was awesome, and I got to go to Hollywood, but I also realized Hollywood's no place for a hillbilly. And but I was like, well, I can't go back now. I just sang a song on Dolby Theater stage. Like, I've got to do something. But another thing, Keith Urban, and I sent him an email when right before we dropped My Boy. I got his email from somebody and sent him a letter to thank him for this, whether he read it or took one glance at it and said, I'm not taking 35 minutes out of my day to read this letter from this guy. But it was a long one. But I think work ethic is something that I took away from it. Keith, when I sang for Keith and Harry and J-Lo, Harry
just
and
like
J-Lo,
three of the biggest names you could be plunked in front of too. Like,
it was amazing. It was awesome. And Keith or Harry and J-Lo, like, they gave me a quick yes, and it felt great. But when it got to Keith, like, I felt like he enjoyed it, and he was the one that I thought I had in the bag, right?
Yeah.
But I felt like he enjoyed it, but he kind of sit back in his chair and he's like, all right, sure, mate, you can sing, or, you might play a show on Friday night, and the next Friday night, everyone that was there might bring their friends to see you. But can you stay up, and can you do the media days? Can you do the interviews? Can you do all that and entertain 50,000 people? Can you put in the work that's going to take? And coming from where I come from, small town Kentucky, being one of the few guys that would pull a guitar out or something at a party, the response was always pretty positive. And it was just like, hey, somebody's got a guitar, let's get them to sing songs. That was really like the first time that I remember somebody being like, all right, so what? That's great. What else do you have?
Great.
And I really I left, and that has stuck with me so much. And I've applied that to like everything when it comes to work. And it's just like, I have got to stay real busy to prove to myself that, yeah, I can do those things. And sometimes too much is put on my plate by me. I actually have people on my team telling me I need to chill out sometimes with everything I'm doing. But I really appreciate that interaction with Keith for that purpose.
And you're finding yourself in a country music world, but that wasn't necessarily always your chosen path. I heard you on your website, you have like a little video, and you said, you weren't so sure that you were going to fit in Nashville. So it wasn't like you're just like going to Nashville, that's my story and what I'm doing. You kind of eased yourself into it to find your spot.
Yeah, I've always had a lot of supportive people in my life when it came to my music, and a lot of people that were pushing me to try something. That's how I ended up on the show. People were just continually pushing me to go. But when Nashville at the time, it just didn't really seem like there was a lane for me for what I wanted to do. But I think that was so stupid looking back. I should have just came down here, like the thing is that's what we need is different lanes, and kudos for country music these days, because you can pretty much do anything and make it work within our genre these days if you got the right attitude, I feel like. And kudos to all the guys out there doing what they love. But I just, I don't know. I seen that performance on the CMAs where Stapleton and Timberlake performed together. And I seen complete opposite ends of the spectrum on the stage together, come together to create something that I think was just beautiful within music. And one of the best performances I think that I'll ever see in my life. I wish I could have been there in person so bad, but I feel like it opened the door. And I came down here the following Monday and started co-writing, and here we are.
Oh,
today.
wow.
Yeah.
And here you are. And it's nice too, because I think country has a nice community, and, with the label that you're on now, that's obviously going to help you get through a few more doors as well, including opening up for Jason Aldean. You have a few shows with him coming up next month. And I can't even imagine how fans are going to react to just music in general, but, to be with one of the biggest names in country, I would imagine that is exactly the greatest spot you could possibly get up on stage now.
I mean, he's like he's one of the best to ever do it, and a huge influence for me. I remember his early stuff. He had a song called Asphalt Cowboy that is still one of my favorite songs to this day. But I've also heard of so many artists that have went out on the road with Aldean and talked about how much they learned from him and his crew moving forward. And I'm excited to have the opportunity, very appreciative of his team and my team for everything they've done to make this a possibility. And I don't know if I'll be able to hold it together out there on that stage. That'll be the first big crowd I've played for. I got to play the Opry this last weekend. I barely held it together
Yes.
for that. That was an amazing experience. And this coming one, I mean, I'm liable to just be so overwhelmed with excitement and adrenaline that I just can't contain myself. We shall see.
Now, playing the Grand Ole Opry, I mean, that is something that people literally dream about their entire life. Now, where you didn't have necessarily a clear path to country, you still fully grasp what standing in that circle and you know, having those moments on that stage means. Like,
Yeah.
What was that like for you to be like, okay, I'm here where so many people dream to be?
Well, I mean, I feel like it's like the first real, the way I've been explaining it when people have asked me is I feel like it's like the first real, like, tangible thing that you can hang on to. Like, when I stood up there, they asked me for a quote. And I said, you know, I feel like humility will take you far places in life, but I can't help but feel like I've made it standing here today. And you look at this circle of wood that's from the original floor, and you see all these divots and the concave and the scuffs and the scrapes and the scars. And you think, man, the only way that got that way was from the 100 years, 95 years of boots scooting across it. And, you know, so think about how many people have stood. It's pretty crazy to think that you've stood where some of your heroes have stood so many times before. One of my heroes is Steve Earle, and I just watched him stand in that same circle just a few weeks ago and sing some songs. And actually, he was probably my biggest influence growing up. So when I checked my guitar, I played Guitar Town. That was the first song I ever played on the Opry stage, and it was really cool
Man,
to do that.
So so iconic. So, I mean, I just feel like all of this great stuff's happening for you, and kind of going back to, like, I feel so excited to be able to introduce Canada to you across our Pure Country network. And it seems like not only is your career taken off, but your personal life. I was creeping your Instagram. I see you and your wife are expecting a baby.
Yeah.
So now you have your stepson, and now you're going to have another baby. So your family's growing, your career's growing. I know it's been a tough year for a lot of people, but it seems like you've definitely played your cards right.
God is good. He has been good. We were able to get a house up in Kentucky this year, move back. I'm navigating how that works now, but yeah, we've been super blessed. It's somebody pinch me. I don't know how all this is happening to me, but it feels really good, and I'm appreciative of it all.
Well, we cannot wait for you to be able to get up to Canada. I think you're going to like it up here. We're pretty cool. We love country music.
You know what I love about Canada is you never hear about Canada being in the middle of any BS. It's always just, it's good vibes in Canada all the time. I hope that I get to come up there and experience it all sooner than later.
Yes, well, you'll definitely be very much welcome. So I very much thank you for spending some time with us to let us share your music. It's so great. I can't wait for other people to start hearing it more. And I know this is just going to be the beginning to an already big start to a big career.
Thank you very much. I appreciate all that. And thank you for introducing Canada to my music.